up here. I have to care for the choices to matter. Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. You have to care about the story first for the choices to actually matter. I believe that the choices matter even in, stories where your choices don't affect things in the world. That's how liberal my idea of choices matter things are. Because there's so many games that say choices matter, but it's like, but do they really? Because I don't care about the story. So for choices to really matter to me, I have to care about the story first. That's the most important thing to me. Have a good story, and then, choices matter on top of that. Well, it can be like, for instance, one of my favorite games of all time has a massive amount of branching and modular choice stuff, and that's Disco Elysium. And they really made sure it was sort of like Planescape Torment, where all the little things that they make a lot of different changes to the world around you and your relationships with people and so on. And I felt that was a really good choices matter game, but it was bolstered by the fact that it was actually just a good story. So have both is my recommendation. All right. Wow, we're ready to get into it. Let's read up on this album first, shall we? Beach House, Once, Twice, Melody. Okay, this is the 8th studio album by American dream pop duo Beach House. Now, Beach House is consists of a vocalist and keyboardist, Victoria Legrand. Let me bring this up to the screen. Beach House, it's a musical duo formed in Baltimore, Maryland in 2004. The band consists of vocalist and keyboardist Victoria Legrand and guitarist, keyboardist, and backup vocalist Alex Skelly. Their self-titled debut album was released in 2006, so that followed by Devotion, Teen Dream, Bloom, Depression Cherry, Thank You Lucky Stars, B-Sides and Rarities, Seven, and Once Twice Melody. So they've had this sort of history here. They formed and then they did more projects and stuff, and this is them here. They do like dream pop, indie rock, neo psychedelia, and shoegazing. So I've listened to Teen Dream, Bloom, and Depression Cherry, I think. I haven't listened to Thank You Lucky Stars, and I've listened to Seven. Beach House went under my radar because I thought it was a genre like Tropical House. Right. yeah. It sounds like its own genre, but that's them there. So I've listened to 4 of their albums. Apparently, I was like, surely I haven't listened to much Beach House. Turns out I've listened to 4 of their albums. Wait, is it 3 or 4? What does Devotion look like? No, I haven't listened to Devotion. Listened to Teen Dream, Bloom, and Seven. Yeah. So I've listened to 4 of their albums. And I pretty much liked all of them. I don't think they blew me away, but they were like... No, they did blow me away. I did like them very much, but they're not my favorite artist, but I think I'd give them like 8 out of 10 for each of their albums. Like, it was just consistently... I'd say they're one of the most consistent modern artists just to come out with stuff that's just like... This is just very good. and a lot of their stuff does sound the same, but they still manage to make it all interesting. I know that sounds funny because an artist that you think sounds the same for most of their albums, you'd think that's a bad thing, but they're just very consistent and nice. And nice? No, I don't think that's a way to describe them. Dreamy. I've never listened to Beach House, so I'm excited for this. Excellent. Well, I hope you enjoy. This is your first foray into the album, and this one's a long one. This one's like 80 minutes, so let's just get into it. I'm gonna make quick, comments between the songs, but I won't be too long because I don't want this to go on for 3 hours. So I'll just make a quick impression between some of the songs. I might just go straight from one song into the other, but we'll see how we take it. Let's go. Let's start this album. Oof. Beach House's Once Twice Melody, starting with the song Once Twice Melody. So that was Superstar. Oh, I like that even more than the original. I think the plays on the song say that people like Once Twice Melody. Oh, I also like Once Twice Melody. They're both so good. That's like a 9 from me. That was really lovely. Yeah, like Orochi says, I'll be saying those lines. May be out of sight, but never out of mind. And then superstar driving far. Like going to sleep tonight. Good vibes, nice reverb, John. Yeah, very, very nice, very lovely and gentle. Let's go on to Pink Funeral. So that was Pink Funeral. Oh, our first truly very sad song. And oh, that was so strong. That's 8.9 from me. Loved that. Interesting outro choices. I think that was our first fade out. I don't think the other songs faded out like that. Did they? Can't remember. But yeah, it was very interesting, and these outros make me sad. They're ending. Yeah, they usually put like an extra minute in there of like they let the instrumental ring out, and they're like, okay, we'll go on to the next thing. I feel they can still continue and give more surprises. That's true, and it's funny since this album is quite long already as it is, and I can sort of tell because they take their time, and by the time that the song finishes, it's like, okay, it almost, even though it's so long, it still finishes quite nicely, and they could go on, but they choose to finish it, and it's very nice. I think I'm gonna replay that song quite a bit. Let's go on to Through Me. And that was Through Me. I like that a lot. It's probably, I know that it was fantastic. It's probably my least favorite of the tracks so far, but it's still better than most most best tracks on most albums. That's how good the tracks have been so far. I did like it a lot, but I suppose it didn't provide me with the same amount of thrill that the others did so far. But it's very good. And an important thing to recognize, I was just reading, is that this is made up of 5 parts, by the way. These first 4, that's the first part, and then we go into. Wait, let me look this up. That's the first part there, and then disc 2 goes up till Over and Over. That's where the second part finishes, and then Sunset to Illusion of Forever. That's where that part goes to. And it's 4 parts, sorry, and then the last part is the finale. So let me resize that so the text is unreadable. No, those are the 4 parts apparently. Part 1. So we've just finished part 1, and then the next one is part 2. Let's go with Runaway. Very nice. That was a lovely track. I give it 8.7 out of 10. I don't know what else to say. That was just really good. Let's go on to ESP. Yoshime. No, yeah, his first song you ever heard from them? That song was free on iTunes years ago. Oh, okay. Yeah, that whole album, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, the album is fantastic. Especially Do You Realize as a song is mind blowing. But that kind of gave me some Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots vibes on that track. Just shows how like wild, how diverse the album is so far. That they, even though they have the same consistent reverbed out sound and sort of drawn out vocals, they can still try different stuff. I think that was like an 8.5 out of 10. Didn't blow me away, but wasn't awful either. It was very good, like just consistently good quality. Let's go on to New Romance. Hello, Jan. Abrupt ending to this song. This song feels like the most relatable to you, at least. Yeah, it's. I feel like this one's quite a relatable song about new romance and about, hey, let's go hang out together. And I feel like people who have that kind of view, they're like, let's just go hang out. Let's just do this. Let's block by block it's being built up, and just that kind of love song. I feel that would really attach to people. And I also resonated with this song, but I feel like a certain personality who actually just loves being around with people and just, hang out in that type of style would love it. I give it like an 8.8 out of 10. I love that track. Bean, did you see the vinyl release for that soundtrack with 5 discs? Okay, this is worth looking up. We'll have a little bit of a break from this. Let's have a look. Tetris Effect. I think I did. Connected 5-disc. What is it? Album, is it? Vinyl. Is this it here? 5 LP Tetris Effect official soundtrack. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Look at that. Perfect Collection. This is Jan's album. Tetris Effect. Wait, this is the original soundtrack, not the connected one? The colors, those colored LPs, so good. A premium 180 gram 5-disc Tetrimino colored. Oh, they're Tetrimino colored ones. And look at the Tetrimino in the middle. This edition features liner notes by the director and composer, is packaged in a special premium rigid slipcase with foil accents. The download code is also included. It's completely exclusive to limited run games and will never be produced again. Any copies sold beyond the pre-order window were leftovers from the original production run. Ouch. Very special. I just have the first one on and blast. It's all connected, so no chance I'll ever get it. Oh, right. I see. Well, you can always just play the game as well. I'll just be honest. I want to play some connected with y'all, but I haven't got the chance to because different reasons. But that's fine. We'll get there. Where's my Friday album Rex? So that was a really lovely track, and I especially love the lyrics of that. I think Superstar is still my favorite because of the wonderful melody, but I think New Romance might grow on me. Wait, what did you say? I can't remember. No chance you'll ever get it. Anyway, let's keep going with the next track called Over and Over. My wild... Was it about death? I'm gonna read... Golden fans across the land now. Given the song's title, the imagery is of a spectacular sunset. I'm just reading the Genius. Bird of prey, the clothing lay on the line and out to dry. I'm reading the Genius annotation. Bird of prey and the clothing line have a loose lyrical connection. A bird of prey are carnivores who feed on smaller animals, but most importantly, their hunt comes as a surprise when they, let me get full screen, swoop down on their prey. Being hung out to dry means to allow someone to be punished, criticized, or made to suffer in a way that's unfair, without trying to help them. Whether this lyric should be interpreted as abandoning someone who needs help, plotted set-up betrayal, an interesting setting, or poetry is unclear. What are the comments? Because this is the one, after Superstar, this is the one that stunned me the most. Because you see, it says, lay me where the flowers grow, for the palace is descending. Golden fans across the land now, just one key ties everything. Oops, I don't want to do that. Blackbird red, the wings that spread, winds that turn, a pretty word. Bird of prey, the clothing, blah, blah. I think this was the one that did. The palace is descending. The country where she's going, someday we all shall find. That seems like a riddle. Like, lay me where the flowers... Like, you know, where is the one place, the countryside, where the palace descends, where someday we're all going to find it? And it's got to be death, right? Choose the one to follow, take them in your arms. Stop saying I want to sign up to start annotating. I don't. Golden fans across the land now. Just one key ties everything. It sounds like a funeral song. I don't know. And sunset meaning sunset of our life? Who knows? Who knows? Either way, I might be overinterpreting it, but could be that. Could be that. It definitely sounds bleak. Yep. Well, we're going on from Sunset, the first track of Disc 3. I liked that a lot. 8.5. Only you know. Next track. That was a great song. Liked that a lot. I did like that more than Sunset. I thought it was very intentional and very nice. And yeah, I like the grittiness of those, yeah, the mids and the din 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 din, and how they really leaned into that chorus. I'd say it's like a 8.7, I'll say. Because it's the same tier as Once Twice Melody. I'm feeling that Once Twice Melody, I'm going to change it to be an 8.8 because that opener was actually very good and I kind of underrated it. I liked that a lot. I thought that was great. I just feel like this whole album's good, you know? Even Through Me, the fourth track, which was, you know, still good. So I just think that every song on this album is good, and I think it'll just grow the more that I listen to each. But yeah, Beach House sounds roughly similar, but they have different modes for each album. But when you hear their earlier stuff, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is Beach House. They haven't made any radical changes to their formula. But I say that perhaps the earlier stuff is a bit more poppy. That's what I'd say. This is more, say, washed out neo psychedelia, dream pop, and the early stuff is not like pop song, but it's definitely drier, definitely a bit more like, say, Tame Impala, I guess. No, it's very much still the same style, but it's kind of Tame Impala, is that how you say it? It's very much Beach House. Anyway, we've got a long album to get through. Let's go into Another Go Around.
Another go around and I'm right here beside you. Another go around and you're right here. Another boy in town and his smile tells you nowhere. Another boy in town and he's right there. Another go tonight and the drugs were just right. But the one you need is there. Another circumstance where you're in your hands, 'cause the girl you know disappears. Another boy in town and his smile tells you nowhere. Another toy in town and he's right there.
That was another go round, and that was just similarly good. I don't know what to say with a lot of these. They're just, it's quite, it can kick quite the same, vibes from each. They just try different stuff and it just works, and I don't know what to say. I feel like the whole album is something to just drench yourself in, so sometimes the tracks just blend together, and with more listens, they start to feel distinct and you start to know where everything is. But I think the overall experience is overwhelming. When you look at this cover, you know exactly what sound to expect throughout the whole album. And to be honest, Beach House as a band, they still sound pretty similar in their other albums, but kind of like this album, it just sort of all sounds similar in sound yet different in approach, and you can probably have your own favorite songs, but when you just put this album on, you can just let it wash over you and hear the melodies and just enjoy the experience. And I think that's what Beach House is all about. But if there was one album, it'd probably be Bloom, and we'll see how this one goes because it's turning out to be pretty good. But Myth in particular is probably my favorite track by them so far. That'll be my favorite track. Let's go on to the next track, Masquerade. This is Benny Radio. Yes, yes, sir. I don't have much to say. That was just another solid track. Another solid track. Very, very cool. Dido, Eurythmics, just super cool. Let's go on to the next track, Illusion of Forever. Yeah, that death and afterlife theme kind of comes through, and then it's because the title is Illusion of Forever, meaning forever in is elusive topic, meaning, doesn't last forever. But then it's just kind of this focus on the, diamonds down her back. In this world, I know you so well on Earth, and I'll always be right here, and I can't believe in nothing just yet, meaning, when you pass on, you can't believe in nothing, I suppose. Diamonds down her back mean like just chills, I suppose. Yeah, I think the diamonds metaphor is diamonds, that phrase, diamonds are forever. You've got diamonds down your back. At the beginning it says, sunshine in her lap, centuries of light, rubies in her hair, moonlight in her stare, centuries of light. So it's like this sort of, you've got an eternal beauty in your hair and your stare, these these naturally occurring things which last forever. It's like they're part of you. Um, Sunday song, Sunday meaning, I guess, end of the week. The way home is long. Sailing to the stars. I wonder why it's so hard. Perhaps the I wonder why it's so hard is the transition into there's always going to be centuries of light. And I'm not going to believe in nothing just yet. I'm going to believe you're there always, just like gems, you know. That's what I got from it. That's sort of what I got. It's like almost like there's centuries of light, like the aging. Yeah, yeah, and I feel like that would just. I think it's this idea in the writer's mind or that person's mind where it's just like your centuries, your millennia, you will
With the stars above you, do you really want round is right to a side. Do I recognize in your eyes? With the stars above you, do you really want to? Many nights, like any other night, I saw and you played last, laid low, laid right, let go, slowly on, slowly on, many
Let's go straight into the finale. Modern Love Stories.
Cleopatra's portrait
album than I would individual songs. Superstar, Pink Funeral, and Bells were perhaps the ones I would listen to individually, but it works well collectively, puts you in the right mood. Yes, exactly. I feel like it flows. I feel like it's this vibe that flows over you, and it actually has like a full cinematic story. But who needs a golf expert on their team? Jan says, yeah. Oh, Mirrored. Oh, there we go. That's right. I forgot Drugs Bunny was your other account, Mirrored J. Welcome, Mirrored J. If you're not aware, we're just having this, well, you might have been lurking or such, but we've just been listening to this album, Once Twice Melody by Beach House. And yeah, I love that even more as an album than it's not constructed, I guess, as a collection of singles as much as it is like a real epic flowing experience. Mandian says, yeah, you're going to smash it, Boo says. And I agree with Boo here. Oh, wow. Need to cool down after that. Whew. Whew. Wow. Heard the last two, you're just waking up. I realize I am that for some people, especially in Britain or Europe. Need a hot shower? Well, go have that hot shower, go have that cup of coffee, go have that breakfast. I'm usually like the Americans go to sleep, and the UK and the Europeans are waking up for work on the Friday. So I'm happy to be the wake up stream, wake up radio. I just don't want to have that same effect where I make people late for work, but you know how it is. I'm so glad to be here, just enjoying this album. And this album in particular was a really, really good one. Love waking up with your stream, such lovely vibes. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that compliment, Boo. I also enjoy being at your streams as well. Usually your streams are my DJing hours when I'm up at like midnight. I remember I used to come to Boo's streams and say I was editing RPG Maker Cola episodes, which I don't do anymore. Thankfully, I don't spend my late nights. It was almost every time I came to a Spiritfarer stream, I'm like, Boo, I'm worried about this episode. It's coming out soon. I've been editing it late into the night, and Boo would be like, you can do it. That's when I first met Boo, when I was still editing those RPG Maker Cola streams. We have Storm Eunice today, named after an old woman. Eunice? It's very fierce though, so I'm not sure about the name. Oh, okay, a storm. Oh no. Oh, I hope you I don't know what the traditional thing for, banding down? I don't know. Glad I have sleep now? Honestly, yes. Honestly, I have so much more sleep now than last year when I was editing all those episodes late into the night. Sheesh. That's part of the reason why it would take me a while to get back into the podcasting thing, and I would do it in a way where I didn't have to edit that much at all. Proud of you for fixing your sleep schedule. Yeah, and I think it was just also because the podcast thing was every week, and I used to edit it profusely and try and get it right, and now I feel I've figured out a different way of delivering content and creating content, and I do it entirely differently. I'd think about different ways of doing it in the future, but yeah. Yeah, that's my life at the moment. I'm slowly looking forward to the April 1st, 2022 start, where I start making my game paper thin, start living up to my name, Benny Makes Games, because people say Benny makes games, but he also makes bangers. But I want to be known for my games, so that will happen soon. Don't you worry. I'm gonna be streaming game development soon as well, so that will happen more and more as time goes by. Yes, but I've been enjoying this experience. I don't know whether to continue or whether to stop it there. We might finish it there. That might be a nice one to finish on. Hope you've been having a good day today, everybody. Fantastic day. Gotta go just chatting stream. Whoa, I'm in the countryside now. Who's streaming right now? Does anyone have... Wow. So excited for the game development? Oh, yes, it's going to be fun. So excited to see the game dev. So much research and prep has gone into it from what I can tell. It'll be exciting to see the product of that. I'll actually show you all the research I've done. I've been doing a lot of research. So I have a design document. I'll show you my game design document. This has been in, development since a long time ago. Wait. Paper thin. Game design document. I like documents like this. See a game design document by Benjamin Jones. Synopsis: the story of a university architectural student meeting a girl at a bus stop and falling in love with her. The game is a story-led simulation environment centering around a love story that ends in the acceptance of a split and the recovery process that happens afterwards. It's a story that starts off as, well, being about romance, blah, blah, blah. I aim for it to be a realistic relationship simulator, blah, blah, blah. So it's like sort of life sim, balancing money, time, grades, mental health stats, and a visual novel, balancing relationship with girlfriend, dad, sister, friend. You go to different locations and have serene and intimate conversations with them, but it's a game. You want to talk about on my new podcast, Jan says, Game Maker Fanta? Yeah. I will, Jan, I will. Phasmoth says, thanks for the stream. So I kind of went through here's some of my influences. I'll go to my influences of games that have been influencing my game dev process. I've got them down here near the bottom. Where are they? So, like, in order of influence so far, I'd say Disco Elysium is one of my biggest game influences. Fallout New Vegas, the Mass Effect trilogy. I'd say Mass Effect trilogy is below Night in the Woods in terms of Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte. Our Life Beginnings and Always, Undertale and Deltarune, Inscription, Scarlet Hollow, Kentucky Route Zero, Cart Life, Depression Quest, Florence, 7 Days to Die, Stick RPG, Coffee Talk, Therapist Mind Manager, Placebo Love, Journey, This War of Mine, The Sims 3, Walking Dead Season 1, Eliza, Valhalla, Missed Messages. You haven't played Night in the Woods, you have it on the list. It's a really great game, Boo, but also be aware that it hits hard. It's a good story, it's a lovely story, but it's also very, it can be quite emotional. And if you like emotional stories, go ahead and give that a go. Orochi says, is your game in production or still working on pre-production? Pre-production, and a lot of it has been playing lots of games. I'll tell you the full list of games that I played in the past few months for this game, and it's quite a lot of them. I played these: Mass Effect Trilogy, Fallout New Vegas, Disco Elysium, Always Sometimes Monsters, Detroit Become Human. Oh, Detroit Become Human's a massive influence on the game. I should put that in there. Punch Club, Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is also an influence on the game. Elsinore is 80 Days. This is ranked in terms of how much I played it, not how much it actually influenced me. The Red Strings Club, Oxenfree Unpacking, Gree, Princess Maker 2 Refine, Emily's Way 2, Monster Prom, Change, a Homeless Survival Experience. Yeah, that research. So let me give you an insight into my life in the past few years. Say 2021, 2020, amount of hours games played in the year would have been 5 to 10. I played almost no games for like a long time. Even ranging back to 2010, I didn't play very many AAA games, and I've missed out on quite a lot of AAA games. I played some RPG Maker games. In fact, last year, 2021, I played more RPG Maker games than I've ever played in my life. And then at the beginning of this year and the end of last year, I probably played more games than I've ever played in my life in the last 4 months. And I really needed to get a good sense of, okay, this is what the world is doing. Honestly, I need to fix that myself. I feel I need to play way more. Yeah, that's the thing, is because my game very much relied on visual novels and like choices matter and really getting into that space. So all of these are aimed towards that genre. So I was like, choices matter. I have an idea of how that works in my mind, but how does it actually has been working in games for the past 10 years? So it was very focused. All of these games are very much in that line of work. It's not really, I won't really say play, I don't know, RimWorld, for example. That won't have any benefit to my to my game, or I won't play something else. For example, Spiritfarer is a fantastic example of a game that I need to play for my game, is because my game is a side-scrolling simulation game where story plays alongside the simulation mechanics, and that's what Spiritfarer is. Spiritfarer is sort of like I learned as I played it, sort of like a Stardew Valley-ish game, or Harvest Moon or whatever, but it's side-scrolling and lovely and beautifully made, and also it has like a ship simulation sort of thing, which is kind of fun. I've noticed that it runs out of resources quite quickly on the map, but the stories and the characters themselves are very they attract your sympathies very easily because they're very well written. That's what I found, and just gorgeous to look at. It's an audiovisual feast. So Spiritfarer was one of those games, and Undertale was also a game that was a surprise, sort of like, oh, I didn't anticipate that to be, an influence on my game. But one thing that Undertale and Deltarune get so right, in my opinion, is the sense of visual communication of story, and story beats and humor and action in a game, and that was something that I really learned from Undertale and Deltarune. Love that you love Spiritfarer as much as I do. Yeah, I do. I'm only like 12 hours into it though, so I still have a lot of way to go. Megalovania starts playing. Yeah, it's funny, like, I have this theory about games that, and even music and art in general, that people think, oh, this is just a joke, therefore it must not be art. But there's very specific reasons why Undertale and Deltarune are so groundbreaking, in my opinion. And they can also be annoying to people, and I've found that as well, particularly when people start talking about fandoms and such. Fortunately enough for me, fandom is not something that really affects me too much. I just take a game as it is, and I don't really take into account the people that, obsess over it. I'm like, yeah, you do you obsess over it, you're fine. I'm going to have my own unique experience with this piece of art by myself, and then make my own personal judgment based on it. Megalovania, she made that raid song. Yeah. So I go into something with an open mind. I played an otome game called Our Life Beginnings and Always. And some people might think, wait, why are you playing this kind of game? It's like, it's a love story about Cove. I know that Salt has been playing this. And I absolutely enjoyed it. One of the things that it really does is it respects your choices, and it makes your choices, you really, it kind of changes a lot of the things. It listens to you a lot, and I found it really innovative in that way, and I was not expecting that at all. You can choose who you are, your pronouns, and you can choose to transition, and you can choose what you're interested in. And even though it's a romance, it's geared around romance, but you can also make it completely platonic the entire time. If you're not interested in the person, or if you're just asexual in general, then like it listens to you. And I think a game that listens to you and is super friendly to your experiences and your wants and needs, this game is just ultra friendly, but also it has some very good writing and very strong conflict in it that is couched in acceptance as well. So it's such a unique and well-written game that I just wasn't expecting. And I think also the True Salt King had the same experience as me, where they kind of went into this because, they went into this because a user recommended it, but they really didn't expect that. Yeah. Orochi says therapist. Yeah, exactly. Therapist Mind Manager. I have notes upon notes of that. I've got about 16,000 words of notes on Therapist Mind Manager, and I'm looking to make that into a video essay. Yeah, that's coming soon. That will come before April 1st, 2022. Should we raid somebody? I can't remember who these people are. I know Ikakoro, I think. Toya, I know them. Lena Moon is a lovely comedian. Anybody have any recommendations as for the raid? There's a famous Dr. Orochi. Not this Orochi in the chat, but a different one. Or should we find someone who's playing a game that we like? Who's Ikakoro again? Oh, that's right. Is this the game developer from Vagabond Dog? We trust in Benny, Mira J says. I just need to see if their face is the person that I remember. Oh yeah, let's go rate them. There we go. Oh, 10 hours. They've been streaming for 10 hours. Sweet lad. Yeah, I'm afraid that they'll finish like soon after. Oh well, I'll give them the raid. And then they can do with you guys what you wish. How should we finish the raid? With a quiet song or a loud song? Oh, you proceed to sleep? Quiet song or loud song? Let's vote. Thank you, Boo. Thank you for the... Had such a good time? Wonderful. Megalovania? Okay, Megalovania. Cheap throwaway raid? Hey, you're all special. You're all special in your own way. Thank you for the stream. I love you all. Let's go give them our raid messages. If you have my emotes, use the top one. If you don't have my emotes, use the bottom one. Loud! We're going loud today. Yeah! 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 Let's give Ikakoro our love. Hey, 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 what? Okay, have a good day.